Good to have you back. Now, pupils from poorer households missed more time in school than those from higher income households during lockdown. And that's according to Dr. Vijay Reddy, research specialist from Human Science Research Council. But she believes they can still recover if proper plans can be implemented. Well, Reddy joins us now for more on this. And Dr. Reddy, thank you for your time and good morning to you. I think before we get into the recovery plan, let's paint a picture here for context. When we say that, pupils from poorer households have lost more education time, how much time are we looking at here, and what's been the impact on those pupils?
Thanks, Tumela, and good morning to all. Yes, the context is that in the 2 years of the coronavirus and the pandemic, as part of the response to mitigate against it, social distancing was an important aspect. This meant that initially schools were in total lockdown, and subsequently learners attended on a rotational basis. This means that, or the estimates are that for 2020, we lost 60% of contact in-class learning. And if you translate that into days, each school year has 200 days. 60% means that we've lost 120 days. Learners didn't go into schools, and they only went in for 80 days. In 2021,
right,
the estimates are that 50% of the time in-class learning was lost. And again, that means 100 days. Now, the school is the most important institution where learning, acquisition of skills and knowledge takes place. And it is particularly important for learners from poorer households, because that's where you're going to have your engagement with an expert, i.e. the teacher. You have the transfer of skills and knowledge, and you can improve your knowledge base and performance, and subsequently education leading to a better life. So in the case, so that's the global picture, the overall picture in South Africa. But of course, South Africa is highly diverse and unequal. For those learners that are in schools which are more resourced and come from households that are more resourced,
right,
they more likely access learning through online platforms, digital learning, etc. And so they lost less learning time. But for the majority of learners who were not in school, who don't have access to digital platforms, who have minimal engagements with learning materials,
right,
they lost more time.
Yeah.
Now, the consequence of... Sorry?
Yes, Doc, you may continue with your point.
The impact of school closures means, and we've done estimates about that, means, of course, that learning performance dropped. If learners took a test or an assessment in 2020, 2021, they scored less than the same group that would have scored in 2019. And so in our estimates at the Human Sciences Research Council, and we used a simulated projection model, we estimated at the end of 2020, as a result of not attending schools, as a result of not having that classroom engagement, the education system would have regressed by 5 years.
Because of time, Doc, I have to come in there, Doc, unfortunately, because we're running out of time. But what does that then mean for recovery? The education system's responsibility in recovery, how does that then look like? Or at least, what is your suggestion?
Well, this is a global phenomena, and it's totally unprecedented. So we don't have a playbook on exactly what should take place. But there are things that perhaps that we could do. And the first thing is that schools must remain open and learners and teachers to be in school every day. We cannot afford to lose more time. And pre-COVID, there was a high level of absenteeism amongst both teachers and learners. And we need to, the first thing is to ensure the internal efficiencies of schools. It must run better, everyone to be in school, everyone to have totally quality engagements in class. Of course, there should not be any school. It's an environment where we are learning to live with the virus, and as a result of vaccinations and masking, etc., we should not have any further school closures. We also propose that, as during the 2020 and 2021 years, the Department of Basic Education trimmed their curriculum to the absolute essentials.
Right.
And we think that going forward, the curriculum should be consolidated and trimmed, because in any year, you're going to be teaching the content of the year as well as trying to catch up previous years.
All right, Doc.
We also...
Due to time, Doc, unfortunately, I have to leave it there, but definitely hearing your point there about how to recoup that time that especially, pupils from poorer households have lost due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Vijay Reddy, wish we had more time for this conversation. Absolutely important, but I have to leave it there, and I appreciate you joining us this morning.
Parents are friends of ours, of parents who have kids. The hardest thing they had to deal with was trying to teach your fundamental subjects, like maths. I was terrible at maths at school. That's why I went into this line of work, because I can't count. Because they don't know how to teach. They don't know how to teach maths the way it needs to be taught at school.
Absolutely.